Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Options Mentor. And I want to go right to the chart of the SPX today and talk about what's been going on. Of course, we've really had the market on an upward tear as there's anticipating that the Fed will cut rates in September. Of course, the Fed hasn't said that, but they're just divining that from whatever uh, reports, CPI, et cetera, jobless claims that they think leads to that. So they're pricing that all in. In fact, probably most of it has been priced in, I believe, by this point. But we could still have some more up moves, especially this week. We have the Fed minutes from their last meeting. Now, those come out Wednesday afternoon at 2 Eastern. And they'll be looking at that, of course, to see what kind of consensus there was on cutting rates or not amongst the different Fed governors. And then a big one here on Friday, this coming Friday, we have the Jackson Hole Economic Forum they have every year. And Chairman Powell will be making a speech there, and the market is highly anticipating that there will be some hint or statement about cutting rates soon. Who knows if that's happening? This market has been absolutely on a tear for this all year. They expected multiple rate cuts and it just kept them in. Okay, we won't get that. Okay, we won't get that. And still going up anyway. But this could be a big week because if they finally get that, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised, I'm sure, if we head up to the all-time highs. We're only about 100 points below them. Now, if something goes wrong there, of course, the market could have a nasty sell-off if something came out that, boy, it wasn't likely that they were going to cut the rates. But I, I believe there's an excellent chance they will, not barely based on economics because inflation's still there, still going up every month. And that really hasn't improved. The economy's in terrible shape, but that doesn't mean that the Fed won't say, oh, okay, we can do it. By the way, there's an election in November, and they very often, the FOMC will often cut rates right before a presidential election. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. Not saying that things are really getting that much better in the economy. In fact, I think they're getting worse. But I don't think the Fed necessarily will see it that way. But we'll find out. And I have an idea for a trade this week. Now, this is a trade that you wouldn't want to go crazy on size for sure. In fact, you may just want to trade a paper if you have very little or no experience, or it's just not right for you. But this is a directional fly in the SPX. Now, of course, this can be done a lot cheaper. You can do it in SPY, nothing wrong with that, or in the ES futures, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to show an example here in the SPX. Well, the idea with this trade is that if you generally believe there could be an uptrend this week or over the next couple weeks, that you would put on a fly, which, by the way, can benefit some from volatility dropping, which most likely the volatility would, obviously, if the market gets good news. But you put it on with the center of the fly pretty far above the money. So in this case, I just used Friday's close of 550, 55.54, and I centered it at 55.80, and I made it asymmetrical because if we do it symmetrical, if you do a balance fly, that means there's an equal distance between the short and the longs on each side. That's a balance fly. That gives you short deltas, and ultimately it does really well if it goes down, but you get in trouble quicker on the upside. So that's not what you'd want to do here if you have the opinion that the trend is up. So with this one, 60 up, 70 down, you're still not in a whole lot of trouble on the downside. If you got here, you could simply exit the trade cheaply, or maybe you could even add an adjustment or something. But on the upside, we'll really get pretty close to those all-time highs before you'd have to do anything, and probably at the all-time highs. I don't think we would go a whole lot further than that. Who knows? Maybe 5,700. But you could add another complex up here, and that would probably take care of it. So there may be one adjustment, I'm thinking, in this trade, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure. I think you can get away with one adjustment if we head up. Maybe not even need that. So this is the kind of trade I'll be looking at this week. I'll be talking about it over at arimer.com with all the people there that I work with. If you want to be over there yourself, check out the description of this video, and you'll see how to get over there with me. And I'll be going over this several times this week at all my opening bells every day, and I have traders lounges, help desk. I'll be going over it there. And indeed, with some of my products, you get access on Slack. I'll be talking about it on there too. So this is my idea really for the week of trade that you put on. You may never adjust, maybe adjust once if you do any, may just exit if it doesn't work out our way and goes down. But I think this one has potential. Oh, and by the way, I put this out the Sep 13th, so it's almost 30 days out. I did that because that gives you a flatter daily line, this purple line. You don't get in a lot of trouble with price movement, that, well, of course, unless it's very extreme, but it's very flat. If you get in closer in time, say I did this for a week from Friday, we'd be in bigger trouble on the edges of this trade. So I want a trade that can take some movement, because I really want time decay to work for me as well, a little bit of directionality. So with that, I'd rather be a little further out, because that does give me a little more lift to my daily line, because duration in an option spread is sort of like altitude in a plane. If things go wrong, you have more time to fix it, right? If you're higher up or if you're longer out in time. So that's why I went out this far. And the structure, I did that kind of based on volatility and experience. Could you make it a little wider? Sure, you can make it wider or more narrow. The wider it is, you'd have more room in the trade, but you'd be down a little more on the edges. Cost you a little more too. But that's all things you can look at. I'm just showing this to you as a concept for you to explore. If you think it's right for you, maybe try out on paper. Well, that's what I have for this week, folks. Thank you for being here. Please hit the subscribe button. Please tell your friends about the channel. I know there's a lot of traders out there looking for content, and I provide it here every week. I talked to someone about a week or two ago who was a YouTube option creator, and they only put out about one video a year. I don't think that's the way people want to be treated, is it? I put out one every week, and I'd love to have you over there with me also. So have a great trading week. We should have some fun this week and some fireworks with all the Fed speech and the minutes. Have a good one, folks. Bye-bye.